Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 5 of the Lugs podcast. I am your host, AJ. Before we start our show today, we would like to take a moment of silence in remembrance of the victims of the Las Vegas shooting, and also to send our condolences to the Robert Yates and Tom Petty family. Okay, Ryan, ready to go to work?
I am ready to go to work, and like you said at the beginning, very nice start there for the tragedy in Las Vegas at the Jason Aldean concert in Vegas. Thoughts and prayers to the families. The Ryan's rant may go a little bit off topic during that. It may. I'm still not sure yet, but I doubt it will. Let's just say the guy was a coward. Thoughts and prayers to all the families of the tragedy. I know a couple of Michiganders were at that concert. We have friends that live in Vegas. I know Steph. She's lives out in Vegas, and she's all right, which is good. But a terrible sense of cowardly act for sure. And to Robert Yates and Tom Petty's families as well. Thoughts and prayers to you as well. Robert Yates, one of the greatest men in all of NASCAR.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Yesterday waking up, I can't put it into words.
I can't either.
2 Jason Aldean concerts in my life, and never once has that thought of that happening ever crossed my mind.
I posted. Go ahead. I posted something on Facebook. It's getting to the point where you can't go out, enjoy a night of music with the family, with your friends, fiancés, husbands, wives, daughters, sons, anything. You can't do it anymore. It's going to get to that point. It's just very sad. Very, very sad time we're in right now.
It's upsetting. You got to keep your head on a swivel wherever you go.
Yeah, that you do. You got to always be constantly looking over your shoulder here to there. Never know when it's going to happen.
But like I said, Ryan, our thoughts and prayers are with the families at this time, this unimaginable time.
We
don't want that to set the tone for today's show. So welcome to episode number 5, Ryan.
Welcome.
How'd the weekend go?
Went really, really well. Actually, I bought a brand new microphone. We're going to see how that works out today for the podcast. I figured, hey, you tell me how many viewers we got. I'd see on Twitter. It's like, hey, let's do it. So I bought a new microphone at Best Buy over the weekend. Actually, the fiance did. Thank you to Sarah. Love you, honey. And how about my Detroit football Lions 3-1 right now?
Yeah,
Unreal.
The Detroit American Football Organization.
That is true. How was your weekend there, AJ?
Oh, it was fantastic because it started on Saturday with an awesome Bulldog win against Tennessee.
That it did.
And Sunday happened. We won't mention how New England fared.
How about that defense?
Yeah. As you saw on Sunday, how I really feel about that defense.
Oh, yeah.
And then to just make my grapes even more sour, Chase Elliott getting passed with a quarter of a lap 1 lap and a quarter to go.
Yeah, we'll get into that definitely for sure, though, because there was some definite things we got to say about that race. I understand now that why he lost, but we'll dive into that more, Chase, that is.
Yeah, it's been so long since I've been so excited to see a driver win. Like the last 20 laps there, I'm standing up, right next to the TV, just standing up, screaming, hollering, and to just get past like that with damn near 1 to go. It makes me sour.
Yeah, I was telling Sarah because we had the last of it on, and I'm like, man, Kyle's gonna get by him. I'm telling you, I have a bad feeling right now. If you looked on the TV, it was what NBC's stats were saying was a 4-second lead, and I understand it took Elliott couldn't get by the Ryan Newman machine. Newman's one of the hardest guys to pass in the sport. I think that's why Kyle caught him, got past him, got the win on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great race.
Yeah,
I thought it was an entertaining race.
Very entertaining.
Whatever tire compound they were using, bring it back.
Amen to that.
You ready to get into this thing? You ready to get into this whole deal?
Let's do a little gas and go right now.
Let's get into some gas and go. We got the Truck Series race in Las Vegas on Friday night.
Ironic.
Friday night or Saturday night?
Yeah, it was Saturday night. Saturday night.
Okay, Saturday. See, I didn't watch the truck race.
I watched I watched a little bit. I was going back and forth between that and the video games. Saw the opening lap. There was a wreck opening lap the eventual race winner had a little contact into that wreck as well. But it was a most part an entertaining race. I like the stages and the truck series. Works out really nice.
Ben Rhodes, man, first-time winner.
Congratulations.
We have back-to-back weekends where we have a first-time winner.
Hey, great job. Great job for Ben Rhodes. The Safe Light Auto Glass truck, I do believe.
Yeah, the thing with Ben is he came close to winning once already this year.
Yeah, and then something went through his radiator.
I think, he blew a motor, didn't he?
Because a piece of debris went right through his radiator, and I think, who was it that ended up winning that race?
I think, wasn't it Kyle Busch, I think, won that race?
It may have been Kyle that race.
Due to the misfortune of Ben Rhodes, I can't remember who won that race. It's been a couple weeks now.
I thought it was Kansas I think it was Kansas that happened in.
I remember when it happened. Just you kind of feel sorry for him, just because he was putting it to Kyle because he was far out in front. He had a couple-second lead on Kyle at the time.
He was putting it to the entire field, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Yeah, something's going on with the engine." They show on the replay of the piece actually going in through the front of the truck, right through to the radiator.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Very shameful.
Johnny Sauter struggled this weekend, though.
2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, not panicking yet.
Oh no! With where they're, I think they're at Talladega is their next race, isn't it?
Yeah, their next race. We'll do this a little bit early. Their next race is Talladega. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday, October 14th on FS1. So they got an off weekend this weekend. Gives them a time to work out those kinks.
Yep, ready for Talladega. But yeah, I'm looking at the point standings right now as we speak, and I mean Johnny Sauter's still in fourth in the playoff standings, which he should be all right.
Sauter's in the next round.
Yeah, Sauter should be in the next round. Yeah, exactly. Comes down to Cindric, Grella, and unfortunately the guy I picked, John Hunter Nemechek. But hey, Talladega is a different kind of animal.
So you go to Las Vegas, a track where gambling, you always hear the gambling pun in there, to a track that is truly the real gamble. That's in the chase for all series.
That it is.
Because that is the one race where anybody can win.
Jennifer Jo Cobb can win that race. Just throwing a name out there.
Yeah, I get you. Your top five. I know this is a short truck recap, but it was a good truck race. But watching highlights of it, there wasn't really anything to talk about other than Ben Rhodes winning his first race and Johnny Sauter struggling.
Yeah.
So your top five was Ben Rhodes, Christopher Bell, Chase Briscoe, Austin Cindric, and Kaz Gralla.
Yeah, the Kaz had a nice run this weekend.
Kaz, back-to-back top fives.
Impressive. Yeah, very impressive. I think the kid's got some skills. Hey, won the first race of the year at Daytona after that monster wreck on the backstretch where, do you believe Matt Crafton got up into the air, almost landed right on the hood of Johnny Sauter. Wild wreck at Daytona for sure.
I remember getting sick that weekend. That day I got sick and I was going to Daytona Sunday. So I was sick at the 500, but I remember sitting there in my sickliness going, what in the hell
am I doing here? Yeah, there's been a couple times there where I've woke up like, oh man, do I want to go out there not feeling good? But then, you get in the car.
Let's talk about Crafton though. What the hell is he doing?
I have no idea.
That's a wild ride and a half.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
Point standings.
Yeah, go ahead with the point standings.
Point standings. Christopher Bell, Ben Rhodes with the win. So those two are the top two. Matt Crafton, Johnny Sauter, Chase Briscoe, Austin Cindric, Kaz Gralla, and John Hunter Nemechek. So your bottom four, Briscoe, Cindric, Gralla, John Hunter.
And I think only three get eliminated, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it three?
3 or 2. I'm not entirely sure on that. So
in Xfinity and Cup, though, 4?
Yeah, I think it's like that.
Okay. So I'm not completely losing my mind here.
Oh, trust me, we've already lost our minds. So, yeah.
I see Gralla getting in.
I do, too.
The way if he could keep up with these runs, and I mean, they're going back to Talladega here in this stretch, so that's a track where he can obviously win at.
That it is. You know what? I actually looking at the standings right now. Actually, there, AJ, I think it's 2 get eliminated in the Truck Series. Then
is it 2? Yeah, it is. It is 2.
Then in the Xfinity Series, 3 get eliminated. Obviously, in the Monster Energy Cup Series, 4 of them get eliminated.
Yeah, it is 2 of them. So with, I think Corral gets in.
I do too.
If he can keep up the consistency, he gets in.
Unfortunately, it might be the BKR trucks that get out this round.
I'm surprised that they got a lack of speed.
I am too.
Because it's a team that showed during the regular season that they can compete, up with the Toyotas and all that, the class of the field.
Well, you did hear
Just lately,
they're full in operations at the end of the year. I don't know if you heard about that, but yeah, BKR shutting down his truck program, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if that's playing a factor into it or not, though.
It may. But wouldn't you want to go out on top, though, if you're closing operations? Hey, let's go out there and win this title.
I just think this is the time of year where all these teams that have been kind of laying back that are already in the playoffs are now starting to show their stuff, per se.
Yeah.
And it's hitting these guys by surprise because notice during the regular season it was, the BKR trucks leading races, and now it's shifted back over to the GMS, the Red Horse Racing, isn't that who Crafton's a part of?
Yep. Yeah, and the KBM trucks have been up front all year.
Now it's the class of the field is taken over. Not that BKR is not the class of the field, that by any means.
No, not at all.
But these other teams are a little bit stronger, and it seems to be the Toyotas, with the Chevy Sauter being in there as well.
Yeah, he's had like I said, we've said too, that he's had 2 races where he's had damage to his truck, but has gone on and is still fourth in the points. Shows the team's ready to win, get this championship for back-to-back.
Right now, you're in a survival round. Just survive the first round.
Yep. Get through.
Get all the kinks out now.
Yep.
And race for the championship there at the end.
That's all you can do.
Ready to move into some Xfinity?
Yeah, by the way, before we get into the Xfinity, we all know that Ryan Blaney won the race on Saturday. I am tipping my hat to Ryan Blaney, the gesture he did after the race. I'm sure you've seen it. He did a burnout. NBC interviewed him, and they were at a commercial when it happened, though. But when they come back, Rick Allen's like, this has got to be one of the lucky fans and this, a memory that he'll never forget. Young boy's wearing a Kyle Larson hat, it looks like. Or it could be a Tyler Reddick hat, one of the two, 42. Or is it Justin Marks 42 in the Xfinity program? Thank you, Scott. Justin Marks. And Blaney hands him the checkered flag that he got. And that right there, that's what the sport's all about right there. Blaney, my tip of the cap to you this weekend at Dover, making that young man's very, very happy weekend.
Yeah, Blaney, I watched this race, a majority of it, the last 2 stages I watched of this race, in between commercials of the dog game and all that. Albeit a boring race, I thought Byron was going to win. He won stage 2, and I was like, oh, yeah, this is Byron's. Let's go.
He won the first 2 stages, didn't he?
Did he win the first 2? I thought he won the second one. I thought someone else. Was Keselowski in the field or no?
No,
he wasn't.
No, only 5 years and under in the Cup Series.
Oh, that's duh.
Duh.
Yeah, Ryan Blaney winning that though was a little bit of a surprise to me. It all came down to that final restart they had with I think it was like 20 to go or 10 to go.
Yeah, and that's why.
And that was when Blaney takes off, and then Allgaier jumps in front of Byron there at the end.
Yeah, and that's why these restarts, like Brad Keselowski has said it in past, these restarts are some of the most important you're going to see this year with these playoffs. Like, people are going to be fighting tooth and nail, beating and banging on each other.
Yeah, it's the time of year that we're in, though. But Ryan Blaney winning and then going on and giving the checker flag to a young fan in the stands wearing a Kyle Larson hat, might I add, was awesome to see because you know that kid just became a Ryan Blaney fan.
Oh, of course he did. Of course he did.
At that, you've gained a fan who's going to keep coming back.
Oh, of course.
That's how NASCAR can really start putting butts in seats again.
There's a couple other things on that nature, too, that they could do as well.
Yeah, but when you show that like these drivers interacting with the kids live on TV, that makes parents think, oh, this is something we can bring our kids to. You know all the stuff that's going on with the NFL right now. There's a lot of people boycotting, not wanting to go to games and all that. Not that the NFL is going to hurt,
No, not one
but
bit.
when they look at NASCAR and see what their athletes, their drivers, are doing for the sport, and the role models that they're becoming, that's something that will transfer over and bring families to tracks.
Exactly. I tell you what, though, that like you said there, AJ, that kid's a Blaney fan for life. He's probably got the parents probably hung that flag in the room, and it was cool too because once the little kid like Blaney's pointing, "Hey, come here, come here!" Like the kid looked like he was shy at first. He got there, and there's people in the stands giving this young man a high five. He's high fiving them back. The parents are all happy. Blaney's getting thumbs up from the fans. That was cool to see. I think that was my moment of the weekend right there.
Yeah, what an awesome moment that was. Like, for non-NASCAR fans, that's an awesome moment.
Exactly.
We're going to move along, though, here. Allgaier and Byron, top two Xfinity guys, both from JRM. JRM showing speed here in the playoffs.
Elliott
That's what we
Sadler's
like to see as fans of JRM.
Three. There's three of them. AJ, Sadler's third.
Sadler didn't finish in the top five, though.
Oh, no, I thought you were going over the point standings there. Might be.
No.
Because I got my
but
tablet
it's nice
with
to see.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's nice to see, with us being, JRM fans, biasly, it's nice to see them having speed.
That very good to see them having speed.
Your top five was Ryan Blaney, Justin Allgaier, William Byron, Daniel Hemrick, and Brennan Poole.
Hemrick, I just read on Facebook, one of the, I think it was a couple crew chiefs maybe getting suspended for wheel, the 14.
Yeah, I do have the Dover and Las Vegas penalties up.
All right,
Before
cool.
I made the show sheet, or after I made the show sheet, the penalties came up. So I do have them up here. In the Xfinity Series, it was Daniel Hemrick had a loss or separation of added ballast from the vehicle. The penalty is crew chief, car chief, and engineer have been suspended from all NASCAR Series Championship points events through November 14th.
Wow, that's a steep penalty if you ask me.
Yeah, you want to talk about a hefty penalty right there.
Yeah, especially with, I do believe Hemrick is in the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, fifth in the standings right now. We'll see what happens there with that.
Yeah, and Brennan Poole as well had an issue.
Oh, I didn't see
all this.
I didn't see anything about Poole. No.
Yeah, Poole had a tire and wheels lug nuts not properly installed, so he had some loose lugs on the car. Unintended.
Hashtag.
All that you had there was crew chief fined $5,000. The only other penalty in the Xfinity Series was Eric Jones, another loose lugs penalty.
Hashtag.
And in the Truck Series, all we missed there was Matt Crafton, also loose lugs. We're getting some show plugs in on this one.
Yeah, we are. We're getting a lot of show plugs on this.
So your point standings.
Always good to have.
Yeah. Your point standings are Justin Allgaier, William Byron, Elliott Sadler, Cole Custer, Daniel Hemrick, Brennan Poole, Matt Tiff, Ryan Reed, Brendan Gaughan, Michael Annett, Blake Koch, and
Clements.
I always get his name messed up.
Well,
it's easy.
I'm glad I have my tablet here to help you out there, AJ.
Yeah. Well, between sports, there's been so many Clements and Clemens in the league. So I get them all mixed up sometimes. Sometimes I'll say the wrong name.
Exactly.
You guys know what I meant.
Out of these, I would say anywhere from maybe tipped on down. It looks like. We'll see.
I don't see Clements making it, so I have him out.
Yeah, I do too. I'd probably have Cook out too as well.
I have Michael Annett out only because it's been the lowest running JRM car this year, and by that he's been finishing realistically 10th on back.
Exactly.
So I don't see him advancing based on that. Brendan Gaughan coming up to Talladega here in 2 weeks, I think can definitely make some noise.
Xfinity does not do Talladega in their playoff.
That's right.
They're at Charlotte. Charlotte.
That's right.
Yeah, which is
they Don't they do Talladega in the playoffs?
Nope. I'll get the schedule up right now as we speak. I could have swore I heard DJ Dale Jarrett announce that no Talladega for the Xfinity playoffs.
I'm just uninformed this episode. I'm doing terrible.
Only trucks in the Monster Energy. Yeah, because we got Charlotte. Then after Charlotte,
that's right. They go out to Kansas.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yep. Hold on, let me try to get there.
Yeah, they take their off
Kentucky,
week when
then it
everyone
was
goes to Talladega.
All right,
right.
Charlotte.
Damn it.
Kansas, Texas, Phoenix, Homestead.
Yep. I'm an idiot.
So pretty much mile and a half their entire playoffs, it looks like.
Isn't that boring?
Yeah, I mean, I wish they would throw a short track in there. Throw Martinsville in there. Run that night race Martinsville.
It's nice that these Cup guys aren't really in it for the most part, besides the 5-year limit.
Yeah.
Because it makes it a little bit more interesting, but damn, man, can we get some interesting tracks in here? And some gambling type tracks?
That's a good rant right there, too, by the way. Why is there so many mile and a halves in these playoffs?
Yeah, I don't get it. Like you were saying earlier, next race is this Saturday, October 7th at Charlotte, 3 p.m. on NBCSN.
And then, according to AJ, they go to Talladega.
Yeah, then according to me and my, make-believe world, they go to Talladega.
I had to give you a hard time there, AJ.
I'm still giving myself a hard time.
That's all right.
And now we go to my sour spot of the week.
Yeah, I hear that.
The Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series, won by Kyle Busch, who won the race on a last lap and a quarter pass, like we stated earlier. Chase Elliott leads most of the last 150 laps. Comes out through the pit cycles back in first.
About a 4-second lead.
A 4.6 second lead with 40 laps to go. And Kyle comes trucking on back in, takes the lead, wins the race. Now, I got to ask you this question, because we already know that Kyle won. We already said this earlier, so I'm skipping over that whole deal. Did Chase Elliott choke the race away? Or did Kyle Busch win the race?
Unfortunately, I have to say it. I think Chase kind of let that one slip away, so to speak. And this is why. I hate the fact that Kyle won. Credit to where credit's due. He did come back from 4-second lead, but this is where it happened. If Chase Elliott can get around Ryan Newman, who is one of the toughest guys to pass in all of the sport. We've heard time and time again, who's the toughest guy to pass on the track? Everybody's like, oh, it's got to be the 31. It's got to be Newman.
It's always Newman.
Yeah, it's always been Newman, and I think it probably will be Newman until he retires. But if Chase Elliott gets by Newman in a conservative time, I think he still wins that race.
My problem with Chase here, and I think collectively, but if you weren't an 18 fan, you wanted to see Chase get his first win. The one thing Chase could have done differently, get off the bottom. Start running the top. Take the top away from Kyle. Don't keep your car glued to the bottom. Search around, because when you see him coming, it's time to find speed somewhere else.
That's on the spotter, too. Hey, this is where he's catching. This is where he's running faster at. Try to get him up there. That's what good spotters do.
So much on Eddie DeHunt.
No, it's not.
As much as it is the driver, because if Ryan Newman is sitting there holding you up on the bottom, try the top. If you can get by him on the top, if your car can hold up on there, then that's where you pass him at. But my problem with Newman, and we're going to get into the whole Newman-Gordon thing, but my problem with Newman...
Boy.
What? You block Chase the whole time. Why, when Kyle gets in the lead, don't you block him? You let him on by.
I don't get that.
He didn't even put up a fight. Like I put on Twitter, I said, I don't know why Chase didn't just door slam Kyle. I don't think he would have lost any fans. He probably gained some.
Oh, he'd have gained quite a bit.
Nobody would have batted an eye on that one.
Not at all.
But I put this loss was on Chase.
Oh, yeah.
He could have done a couple things differently. Ryan Newman might have held him up, yes, but it's a part of the sport. Ryan's trying to advance, and I get that. I get he's waiting for that caution.
Yeah, and if Stenhouse has a slight hiccup anywhere, there's Newman. What did he only do? Finish 2 points out, I thought it was, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, two points
2 points out, yeah.
So, that's my take on that. My only side note that wasn't Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch related was Jeffrey Earnhardt hitting the barrels, because I think that was the only crash during the race.
Yeah, for damage. And because
what the heck?
Sarah and I had the Lions game on, and I turned into the race during the commercial for the football game, and red flag. I'm like, I don't see any damage on the track, and I'm like, okay, normally they'll announce it, let me know what's going on. And then I see in the barrels, I'm like, oh, somebody must have hit the barrels, and everybody's like, oh yeah. Then I checked Twitter, and I forgot. I think it's Jeff Gluck. He was like, yeah. Jeffrey Earnhardt hit the tires with all the sand. So they had to take all the sand out, pick it up, put it into a new barrel. So it took a little while. Hats off to the crews for getting these red flags cleaned up as quickly as they can.
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
Like when the track
I had a lot of time to switch in between during the Pats game and all that. So
that is
when
true.
I saw that, I saw Jeffrey, and I'm like, oh, just the struggles continue there. I know he doesn't have the speed. I'd like to see him get into one of these, quality rides.
I would love to
see what he can do.
I'd say, hey, go into the run for JRM next year with the William Byron ride. Let the kid see what he can do.
Yeah, that's another good question, or another good topic you brought up there, because I don't know if they're going to run Byron in the 9 next year, if it's going to be somebody else. I would think you keep him in Xfinity so he can still get some seat time under his belt.
Yeah, because I haven't heard anything on who they're going to have fill that seat. I've been checking Twitter, Facebook, Fox, NBC. I don't really go to ESPN anymore for my NASCAR news.
Well, Jayski's through ESPN now.
Yeah, that's besides Jayski. That's the only thing I go through ESPN for NASCAR-related news.
So jumping back into this whole discussion, let me go through this first.
The stage winners.
Because it kind of happens first. Eliminated was Ryan Newman,
yep,
Austin Dillon, Casey Kane, Kurt Busch. All four just, where were they? They could not be found. Amber Alert.
Yeah, exactly. Amber Alert is right. My big shocker on this group is Dillon.
Kurt Busch.
Dillon.
Oh, really? Dillon? I'd go Kurt Busch.
Mine was Austin Dillon. I thought Dillon, he's showing some speed here or there, but they showed it on as they ran the playoff points and how many of those guys put up. And there was, I think, was it Stenhouse? Stenhouse. He got a stage points. He moved on to the next round. And now I'm looking at the standings right now. He's currently in 8th right now, just by getting the stage point.
Yeah, 0 points by the bottom 4 in the stages. That is unbelievable.
It shows how
at a time where you need to be up there.
Yeah, these stages are very, very important now.
Going into your top 5 of the race, Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, Jimmy Johnson, Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Larson, and your new updated standings is Martin Truex, Kurt Busch now. Kyle Busch. I was about to say Kyle, and I switched it to Kurt last second. Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Brad Keselowski, Jimmy Johnson, Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, Matt Kenseth, and Jamie McMurray. So now we fast forward to after the race. And Ryan Newman is giving an interview for, I think it was NBCSN. And Jeff Gordon walks by him, says, "Thanks for the help." And Ryan Newman stops his interview and, says, "Watch what you say." And we almost had fisticuffs between a Fox analyst and Ryan Newman.
That we did. And both those guys, especially Jeff in his heyday, were known to be hot-tempered. And obviously, Chase being in the 24 car, the car that Gordon made famous, you thought something was going to happen. I thought they were going to go after each other. And then cooler heads prevailed for the most part, and they walked away. And I think the fact that Newman maybe rewatched a race that he won at Phoenix, where Jeff Gordon was like, "Oh, 31 got lucky to win at Phoenix," when it was a great pit call, by the way.
Yeah, I don't want to look too much into the personal aspect of it, but Jeff, I think, should just button up in one of those situations. I know he's a legend of the sport. I know his ties to the 24.
Hendrick Motorsports as well.
Exactly. He's part owner of the 24 still.
Yes, he is.
Just stay quiet.
Please.
Let this... What happens on the track, and you can't control it, don't start stuff after the race for it.
Exactly.
You have an image to represent for Fox because you're an announcer for NASCAR on Fox. You don't want people to start thinking you have, you're partial to one team, and biased towards another.
In his first year, I thought he was like pro Hendrick. He kind of calmed down this year with the pro Hendrick talk. And everybody knows he's still, like you said, part owner of Hendrick, ties with the 24, great friends of Jimmy Johnson, Chase Jr., all them guys over there. But when you're in the booth, come on, 50-50, right down the middle now. No wrestling announcing here. When JR was all for Stone Cold Steve Austin and Jerry the King Lawler was all for Mr. McMahon. Come on.
That's it. Yeah. We're replacing Gordon with Jim Ross next year.
There we go. Oh, my. We have a slobber knocker here on the track. There we go. All right. So, AJ, I do have a quick question for you.
Yes.
Out of your top 12 right now.
That's actually what I was just about to ask you. But
who is
out of the top 12, who are my bottom 4?
Yeah, who's your bottom 4 this round?
Jamie McMurray.
Agree.
Ryan Blaney. I hate to do it. Ryan Blaney.
I have to agree, unfortunately.
I gotta put Matt Kenseth in there. He hasn't shown me anything.
No, they haven't.
And it'd be difficult to put two Joe Gibbs drivers out of it.
You're going Hamlin?
I'm going Hamlin. This is Dover, Talladega, and is it Kansas?
It's Charlotte. Charlotte, Dega, Kansas.
I'm sorry, Charlotte, Dega, Kansas.
Mm-hmm. So you're moving Ricky Stenhouse into the round of 8.
I am. That's my pick to win Talladega.
Good pick. I was thinking that. He's run good at the restrictor plates this year. Ford's run excellent at the restrictor plates this year.
Talladega's the track where I can look and say, okay, Stenhouse wins there and moves on. So,
and I was looking at something on NBC, their Facebook page, with the Charlotte, Dega, and Kansas. The 48 has the best average finish out of all those tracks right now. I think besides, there was a playoff driver, Talladega, I forgot who it was. I'm not entirely sure, but Kansas and Charlotte, good if you're a 48 fan. This is your time of the playoffs. This is his time to shine right now. Make it go for 8.
Now, just a point I want to bring up here, Ryan.
Yep.
This is the point in the season where last year Truex lost it, because Truex had the championship won at this point last year, too. This is where he lost it, this stretch of races.
And I'm telling you right now, with the stage racing and the points he has right now, if you look at his points right now, he's got 3,059, while the person in 12th, which is Jamie McMurray, has 3,003.
So he basically would have to wreck out every race.
It's what it looks like. What it looks like. Yeah. I think he's going to be one of the final 4 in.
I do too, but Miami. I'm just throwing it out there. This is the point where last year he struggled.
If it happens again, I will be honestly shocked.
I don't see it happening again, but it's worth noting.
I would do something crazy on the podcast. I don't know what that is if Truex gets knocked out this round. I'll do something crazy on the podcast. I don't know. Well,
who are your bottom 4, Ryan?
My bottom 4 are going to be McMurray, Unfortunately, Blaney. I'm going to go Kenseth, even though I picked all 4 Toyotas in the final race. And I'm going to go Kevin Harvick.
I was going to put Harvick in there, but our buddy over at the Lap Traffic podcast,
All right,
Brandon, is a Kevin Harvick fan.
Sorry,
so
Brandon.
I wasn't going to go against him.
Sorry, Brandon. But at Dover, he normally runs pretty decent there, and they just didn't show me anything.
Well, next race coming up is this Sunday, October 8th at Charlotte. 2 p.m. start time on NBC.
Wow, NBC.
Before the season started, they had it on NBCSN, so make note that it is on your local NBC channel.
About time they did that.
Yeah, this is the time of the year where it needs to be on NBC, like I said last week.
Yeah, well, we said it last week, like you said, AJ. These playoff races should be on NBC. I understand NBC's got rights to other sports, like the FedEx Cup.
I want to go back real quick, Ryan.
Yeah.
To the whole Kevin Harvick thing. If he can get past this round, he wins Phoenix.
Oh, of course he does. He runs excellent in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Speaking of running great, wasn't it nice to see the 88 car in the top 5 at Dover?
Boy, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. I was going to say, we're going to go a whole podcast without talking about the 88 car and having a good run. We talk about him finishing in the top 20 and we're happy, but no, he had I thought that car ran really well.
Yeah, it was awesome to see. Hopefully they can keep carrying this over. They run pretty well at Charlotte.
I would love to see him win Dega.
No doubt would love to see him win Dega.
Got my fingers crossed on that.
I'm going to talk some junior here at the end when we do our picks.
All right.
But continue it on here. We're going to get into some tire rubs. News of the week.
No breaking news, just news.
Before we do some breaking news, we can go through some Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series fines and penalties of the week.
Oh, here we go.
We had Clint Boyer and Eric Jones both with some loose lugs. And that was it.
Wow, Jones in both the Xfinity and the Monster Energy Cup Series?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. We're going to start the news, though.
All right, let's hear the news.
With something that happened during the Cup weekend here with Michael McDowell receiving the Joey Logano treatment.
Really?
I don't know if you noticed, he failed qualifying inspection 4 times. Saturday practice, he sat him at the end of pit road for the entire practice, in the car, helmet on, gloves on, window net up.
Oh, man. Here's my question to you and the listeners of the Loose Lugs podcast. What is NASCAR trying to prove with this by getting a driver all suited up, and especially
it's not the driver's fault.
Well, I know it's not the driver's fault, but why penalize the driver?
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand why you're gonna sit the driver at the end of pit road. And Michael McDowell had the perfect comeback for it, and it was I'm okay with this because now it gives my guys a lot more time to figure out how to put speed in the car. And that was a perfect response to the situation, to the whole thing that happened.
That great line from Michael McDowell right there. He's a likable guy for sure.
Like I told you all last week, you penalize him at the start of the race. Put him in the back.
Yeah, put him in the back. Work your way up.
Fine, suspend the crew chief if you want to, but you just put him in the back of the race before the race starts. Or take a set of tires away. Maybe that does something.
You could take a set of tires away.
On top of having to start the race on qualifying tires if you make it out there, you lose a set. Like, that would get your point across.
And I understand the drivers are used to the heat and everything like that, but say you're in Daytona, July. What is it down there, AJ? About 90, 95 degrees almost?
In July, we're staring 95 dead in the face.
Yeah, and then you're going to punish a driver for sitting in a hot race car. Granted, yeah, they do it on Sundays, but they also have the air system on the fans, everything like that. I don't know if they are able to have the fans on in these cars when they're sitting on the end of pit
It
road
don't
during
matter,
practice.
man. Those fans ain't blowing cool air.
Oh,
It's
I
just
know.
blowing cooler air
Yeah,
than what's
cool.
in the car.
Exactly my point. But you can't do that in the dead of summer.
Yeah. I'm going to move on from this. This
All
is
right.
a story that irritates me a little bit, that whole penalty situation.
Let's hear it.
Phoenix Raceway sold the naming rights to Ingenuity Sun Media.
Really?
Phoenix Raceway is now going to be called ISM Raceway. That was news last week after we recorded. Worth noting to put in here. Bubba Wallace trying to get Domino's as a sponsor. And even they had Photoshopped the 43 with Domino's on it, which was pretty cool.
Nice.
It's good to see Bubba out there on Twitter trying to get sponsors. And the best part of all was Domino's responding to Bubba with a tweet said with a video, and it said, maybe this will get your attention, with DM us. Domino's responded to Bubba.
Nice.
So that's awesome.
That'd be a nice
Bubba
sponsor
needs
to
a
have
ride.
in the sport. I do believe Michigan International Speedway, it's either Cottage Inn or Domino's. One of the two pizza sponsor is out at the racetrack.
If you remember correctly, Domino's sponsored Michael Waltrip for a while, and David Rudiman and those guys.
They could come back into the sport. I like their pizza.
It's a sponsor that has ties to the sport already, so
that it does.
We'd welcome them back with open arms, especially if it means Bubba Wallace gets a ride.
For sure, especially in the 43 car.
Yep. Hendrick Motorsports will announce their 2018, or they'll do their 2018 car reveal Thursday. So updated paint schemes, sponsors, all that for Chase Elliott, Jimmy Johnson, William Byron. Did I miss one there?
You said Elliott, Johnson, Byron.
Yeah, just those three. Yeah.
Yeah, still three right there. Well, because Casey Kane's out right now because we don't have a fourth driver yet.
It's weird not saying Kane still.
No, they're not.
The big news of today came out today. NASCAR announcing their 2018 rules package. In the rule package, they have, I got the picture right here so I can see it. Downforce, 1,650 pounds. They're going to have a high-speed in-car safety camera, common radiator and oil cooler, the common flat splitter. They've reduced the aerodynamic fans. One rear gear, which is the big change.
That was very big change.
The spoiler height is closely similar, if not the same, 2.3 inches by 61 inches long. Step in the right direction. Yeah, minimum changes.
It is a step in the right direction, but why change the car every single year, it seems like? I understand.
No, see,
I understand
these changes are okay.
Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm as long as it makes these changes make the, not one manufacturer, not going to mention any names, Toyota, but most of these why? Like, I understand they want to get the series competitive, and if it does, hats off. But if this car works next year, keep it.
The one thing I want to see, and I know a lot of other NASCAR fans want to see, is I want to see the splitter removed. I want them to go back to the front valence, and I want to see the side skirts removed.
I do too.
Yeah, that'll really get some better racing in my opinion, at least.
Like watching all these old classic races they have on, the one Junior won Daytona after Senior died, how much the car looks different compared to now. It was insane.
I saw someone on Twitter saying something like, hey, NASCAR, instead of doing these IROC cars, why not let the drivers just work on or make their own adjustments to the cars?
That'd be interesting.
Boy, do I agree with that, though.
That'd be interesting to see, though, for sure.
Yeah. Ready to move into some Ask Lug questions?
Ooh. We
got two this week.
Oh, we got two questions this week.
We got two.
All right.
The first one comes from Scott at SJRenco22, which is your brother.
That would be my brother. Hats off to Scott. Thank you for the question. We got to hear what it is.
The question is, which dark horse do you see going farthest in the playoffs? I'll let you answer that because it's your brother.
All right, well, Scott, I forgot your Twitter name, even though you're my brother. Here is my dark horse, and that was going to be, if he got through the round of 4, which he did, would be the 17 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. He's got Talladega coming up, which he's won at. He's run good at Charlotte. He's run good at Kansas. And if they get that little mojo going, he could be a contender. Not say win it, but be there a dark horse, as the question stated. How about you, AJ? Very
Out of the
question.
drivers that we've got left here, and because I have 4 guys that I predict going out here, and you picked the 17 already, I see Chase Elliott as a dark horse in this playoff. He's coming up to tracks that he's very strong at. He's been strong at Charlotte. He's been strong at Talladega. Well, there's 6-plate tracks, with speed, with qualifying. So if he can keep the car clean, that'll help. And Kansas, which is another 1.5-mile track that he runs fairly well at, I see Chase Elliott going the farthest.
I do too. Him and Stenhouse. Those 2 guys right there, man. 1A, 1B.
Yeah, I don't know if some people would consider Chase a dark horse. I consider him one because he doesn't have a win yet.
That would be a good reason to call him a dark horse. He hasn't won yet.
Exactly. He's not won in his career yet in the Cup Series, so I see him as dark horse. It's also kind of a biased opinion, but...
And the reason why I did pick Stenhouse, other than Talladega and Daytona, which is where he's won it, he has shown improvements at these 1.5-mile tracks. Where, what was it last year? They're averaging about 22 place finish. Now this year they're up to the top 10, maybe anywhere between 10 and I'd say 15. A couple bad races here or there, but that's to be expected through a full season. But yeah, very good question.
And with the backs to the wall last week, resiliency and getting up there and moving on to the next round was awesome to see. Definitely promising.
Pit strategy for sure.
Yeah. So that crew's dialed up.
That they are. I'd like to see the Cat in the Hat win a championship again.
And originally, when this question was asked, I had wrote down that I would say Stenhouse, Talladega, this block of races moving on. But since you chose Stenhouse, I went with Chase.
Oh, I stole your thunder yet again.
I know, but this week I get the first pick, so
that's right.
Eat it, Ryan.
Yeah.
Last week you had asked for some listeners to send in their top 5 broadcasters, and I just want to let you know we are going to get to that.
All right, good stuff.
But first we had a question sent in from William at the _Wilson429. Long time, I say long time. He's listened to all 4 episodes so far.
Keep on listening. Love the
and he always gives his feedback, so I appreciate it. Sends in, how long will it be before Chase wins?
How long will it be before Chase wins? Well, it should have been Sunday at Dover.
Should have been Sunday at Dover.
I could, like you just said, AJ, I could see Kansas. I could even see this weekend at Charlotte. But I'll have to go Martinsville. I think he gets it done at Martinsville.
Do you think it's at Martinsville?
Yeah. If he moves on through this round, which I picked him to do, he'll win at Martinsville.
I could see that happening. I see Chase getting his... How long will it be before Chase wins? Due to what I had posted on Twitter after the race, and you'll also find out when I do my predictions this week, it'll be less than 3 weeks.
Less than 3 weeks.
And when he does get that first win, he's getting, I would say, 2 out of 3.
Really?
That's the limb I will go out on. That's my hot take.
Now, here's another question I have for you, AJ. What would you rather see Chase win, the 24 or the 9?
The 9.
I
said that last week. It's the 9.
All right.
But I do see it coming in the 24.
I do too.
We're going to move on. We're going to get more into that question. There's like a part 1, part 2 of that question.
Part 2.
That we're going to get into here a little bit later. But top 5 broadcasters was what you asked last week.
That it was.
I've got my list. You got your list?
I do. You go with your list first.
You're going to let me go with I'm going to start at the top, work my way down.
All right.
That makes most sense. Number 1 for me, and it was a voice I grew up listening to because he was done racing at this point. And it was the voice I heard damn near every Sunday. Benny Parsons.
Good answer.
Number 2, I put MRN's Barney Hall in there. Absolute legend. Most people would put him number 1.
R.I.P. He was my number 1. My number 1. Listening to the radio. Oh, man. Call a race for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you. Number 3, Ken Squire.
Oh, man. Good old Kenny.
And number 4, I put his partner in crime, Ned Jarrett.
All right.
And number 5, this is another voice that I heard growing up, and I feel deserves to be here. He doesn't get enough recognition, in my opinion. Alan Bestwick.
Oh, my great answer right there. I loved when he called races. I'm mad that ESPN let him go because he called the Indy 500 this year, the races that they did for ESPN on ABC. I just thought he had the great voice for the sport, knew the knowledge of the sport as well, and actually can call a pretty good college football game.
Alan Bestwick, yeah, he called the one at Bristol last year, didn't he?
No, he did not. It was Fowler and Herb Street.
Oh, didn't he call one of the big bowl games this year?
Yeah, he called one of the bowl games, like a couple of the bowl games. I know that.
Alan Bestwick is one of the only guys that, besides Benny Parsons, that could bring comedy into the lead commentator.
Oh, yeah.
The play-by-play guy. It was just awesome to listen to him call a race, and he called countless Daytona 500s, called the Pepsi 400, 2001, the junior one, and I'll never forget hearing him call it.
Learning lessons learned from his father.
Yep.
Great line.
Add into his legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Another junior one in 2004 for the 500. And it was just, Bestwick was awesome. I put a number 6 in here.
All right.
Wasn't a broadcaster, but I feel is worth mentioning. Steve Burns.
Oh, yes. R.I.P. I've met Steve one time at MIS. He was, so down to earth. It was so cool, though. We're like, man, I love the work you guys do and the pit reporting. You guys give us all the information that folks at home who don't have the scanner listening to it, yeah, you give it right to us. We like how you guys pronounce or come out with everything on the broadcast. And he's like, thanks, man. We definitely appreciate that. So, definitely Steve Burns, man. He is definitely missed for sure.
Anyone that you would ever talk to about Steve Burns always had nice things to say, and who he was on TV was who he was as a person. Yeah,
exactly. The clip they showed the day he passed, or the morning they found out he passed on Race Out, was one of the best pieces ever. You had a young Steve Burns, and he's talking to Earnhardt Sr., and Sr.'s like, who are you again? And he's like, Steve Burns. And he's like, Steve who? It was a very cool piece, that's for sure. So,
him and Earnhardt had such a special relationship.
That they did. But yeah, I'm going to do my top 5. I'll start at the top. To me, it's Bob Jenkins. That crew that they had at ESPN, him, Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, to hear him call a race right down the middle, 100% spot on. 2, Ken Squire. I love listening to him. He loved him some Dale Earnhardt Sr., which was all right and still could call a race to this day. And number 3, Barney Hall, like you said, AJ. Always love listening to the radio. Radio gets me so pumped up for a race. It's like they get into it. Coming out of 4. That's what the radio does. But Barney Hall was definitely up there.
Meanwhile, it's lap 6.
Yep. Meanwhile, yeah.
It's a photo finish at the line.
Yep. Full photo finish at the line. I definitely like that. Number 4. I know I'm going to get maybe a little bit of heat on it. I know there are people that like him. His style has definitely changed throughout the years instead of calling the sponsors. But I have to give respect and props to Mike Joy. He was a good pit reporter as well as he is calling the race. And number 5, he's been doing it very, very short time on NBC Sports, but he also called races, if you remember, for the Speed Channel before it became Fox Sports 1.
Truck Series. If I think I know who it is.
The Truck Series, the ARCA Series, but he always made it feel like getting into the action, and that's Rick Allen. I think NBC's toned him down a little bit, it sounds like, but I just love hearing him call the race. Also, he did respond to a tweet of mine that I had tweeted out a couple weeks ago, right before the Darlington race. I'm like, getting ready to watch the Southern 500, from Plymouth, Michigan. And I'm like, good luck tonight, guys. Great broadcast. He liked my tweet, and I'm like, holy shnikes. And
Rick Allen's awesome.
Yeah, Rick Allen is awesome. And I remember specifically my brother who asked our Dark Horse question, he asked Rick Allen on because they said that Eldora was the last race he was broadcasting for Fox Sports 1. And my brother tweeted out, it's like, hey, are you going to be working anywhere? He's like, yeah, I'm going to be the lead guy for NBC. And that was so cool to see that Rick Allen, responded. He's very social on the Twitter account.
Yeah, Rick Allen, I've tweeted him a couple times, and he's responded, I think, every time. He's always replied to it. But someone had asked Rick last week on Twitter, and I chuckled when I saw it, was, why don't you say problems anymore during a wreck? And he goes, it wasn't until his kids pointed it out to him in a video that he stopped doing it.
I know what video you're talking about.
It's got to be the one that I'm thinking about, where they did his voice over Problems, the song Problems.
We got problems.
I used to love hearing him say it.
Problems. I love it. But yeah, he's definitely up there. And then if I could add a 6th, which I will, I'm going to go Matt Yoakum. Right now, I like to get way he does the pit reporting. Spot on. Always ask the good questions. Never over ask a question. I don't know if you've noticed this though about some of the reporters on NBC, like their pit reporters. I think it's Marty Snyder the most. I think that's who it is. But he always asks repeat questions, and they're drawn out. I'm like, the driver wants to go, let him go. Yoakum's always straight, short, to the point. That's what I like about that.
Two guys that could also be put on here. I know it's only a top 5. Another 2 guys to me worth an honorable mention. Dick Berggren.
Oh, yeah, Dr.
And
Dick.
Bill Weber.
Weber was hit or miss for me. Mine would have been Dr. Jerry Punch. And John Kernan.
Jerry Punch, too.
Yep. I also like Parker Kligerman right now.
Kligerman's awesome on pit road.
Yeah, he is. He is really good at what he does, and I think a lot of that has to be with being inside of the race car itself.
Yeah, he's got a lot of knowledge behind him.
Yes, he does.
So you ready to get into some social media?
So did anybody respond to that question, by the way?
I didn't get any responses, but I think after this episode we'll get some in.
All right.
And we can discuss them next week.
All right. Questions still out there. Top 5 announcers of all time.
So make sure you send us your hashtag AskLug questions in for next week. Make sure you send us in your top 5 broadcasters all time. Let's get into some social media stuff here.
Hashtag
we got a couple new followers.
All right.
We got Scott Allen Motorsports at Scott3SA. He's a dirt late model driver and owner.
Oh, where does it say where he races at? What dirt tracks?
Yeah, I did not check it.
All right.
Adam Hesley, if I pronounced that right, I hope I did. At Adam Hesley BNR, he is the co-host of the Bump and Run podcast, which is an excellent podcast.
That it is.
Recommend you checking that out. We have Clyde at New Clyde. And we have Steve Burhalter at Burr96, Dale Jr. fan.
All right.
So thanks for the follows. And the big news that we have from the podcast is we're up to 106 downloads. Which is something that I didn't even think about when we started this thing. 106 downloads, I can't help it. I got to thank everybody who's listened, and followed and given us feedback. You guys are awesome.
I'm the same way. I'm sorry I stutter on the podcast, but once I get going, guys, they're, AJ's like, shut up, like that. But I just get going. I get ahead of myself sometimes. It happens. But thanks to everybody, like AJ said, for listening. We definitely appreciate it. Thank you for all the questions you guys have been asking us. 106.
Never, when I started this podcast, when we were talking about starting one, did I think we could ever get to 100?
Neither have I. Neither have I.
But now let's get to 200.
Yeah, exactly.
We're up to 44 followers on Twitter, 55 likes on Facebook.
All right.
You can follow us on Twitter at Lugs Podcast. Also, give us hashtag AskLug questions, hashtag LugsPod if you want to talk about the show with us. You can like us on Facebook, the Loose Lugs Podcast. You can subscribe and rate us on Podbean and iTunes now, like I said last week, and that is also at the Loose Lugs Podcast. And another form that you can listen to us on is YouTube, and that is also the Loose Lugs Podcast. So go and check it out. Shoot us a follow. You can follow me personally at Grey Goose F150. You can follow Ryan at RRencola88.
Represent the 88.
And we've made it to this point in the show. Ryan's rant.
All right, AJ. Here's my rant of the week, and that is with 4-second lead at Dover. Why could you not get that race done? I understand. It's a hard sport to win in. There's some of the greatest drivers ever that don't have championships, don't have as many wins. But the fact is, get the job done. That's just a small rant right there. But the rant of the day. Hats off to the NASCAR and the NASCAR family for standing during the national anthems during this time right now with, we've mentioned it before, the NFL players, everything like that. Yes, I'm an NFL football fan. Will I stop watching? No. But hats off to NASCAR for standing during the national anthems, showing respect to the fans, to the car owners, to the soldiers, to most importantly, the United States of America. And that, my friends, is my rant of the week. Granted,
God bless America.
Exactly. God bless America. I should have had a different rant this week, but I couldn't do it. I was going to do something about the thing that happened in Vegas by calling the shooter a coward, which I already did, but I didn't want to get any more detailed into that. We're going to just, like I said, let those families, hopefully they can get through this tough time for sure, guys.
Yeah, I can't imagine what they're going through.
I can't either, AJ. It's like at work, I was like, I couldn't believe it. Like, I didn't want to be at work because of it, but I was there. It just sucks.
And like I said, I didn't want to stay on this because I want this to be an upbeat podcast. I don't know what brings someone to do such a thing, such a hateful thing, and then to have the cowardice to take your own life at the end.
I wanted to say the same thing about being a coward and taking his own life.
Yeah.
It happens with all these shootings. It happens at all these shootings.
If you were just going to do that to yourself in the end, why don't you just start with yourself?
Exactly.
But awesome rant today, Ryan.
Yeah, we'll work on something for next week. I think I got something brewing, so.
And we have made it to the white flag.
One lap to go. Sponsored by
Ryan
Yankees
this week.
And Twins. Yankees
Ryan this week. You sponsor it this week because you won last week.
All right, I'll sponsor it. All right, let's do it. One to go.
Yeah, you won last week with Jimmy Johnson. Good for you.
Good pick.
So this week it's my first pick.
All right, you get first pick at Charlotte. Let's see it.
And William, to answer your question, and to back up what I said on Twitter this week after the race, your winner at Charlotte is the number 24 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet Chase Elliott.
Dark horse?
My dark horse.
Or how about this? Non-playoff driver.
It is. It already is.
All right. Good answer.
My dark horse, in his final start at Charlotte, I'm taking the number 88 nationwide Chevrolet Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Going all Hendrick Motorsports. Nicely done.
Promising week last week. Always runs well at Charlotte. Came down to fuel mileage a couple years ago. I like to see him get it done here. I think that's my dark horse pick.
That'd be nice to see Junior winning at Charlotte. But since you took Chase Elliott and you took Dale Earnhardt Jr., here we go. I am picking the guy that ran good there in the 600, but ran out of fuel shortly. I'm sticking with the 48 car this weekend. I think he's going to get the job done this weekend at Charlotte. The dark horse will be the 22 of Joey Logano at Charlotte.
Mr. Cucumber himself?
Yep, Mr. Cucumber himself. That's right. I think he's going to get a win before this thing's over and say, hey, look at my car now.
Yeah, but then what happens if he fails inspection again?
Exactly. And I don't know if you were watching it, but Todd Bodine was talking about it, and he's like, what the heck does this encumbered mean? Just take the win away, give it to the guy who finished in second. Granted, yeah, they did the victory lane, they do the celebrations, everything like that. But what does that even mean? We've talked about it, and if anybody out there knows exactly the definition of what this means, tweet us, Facebook, Twitter, social media, anything.
I hear you there, Ryan. But with that being said, it pretty much wraps up our show. You got any big plans this weekend?
Yeah, actually I do. We got some good friends of ours, AJ's and myself. Our boy Dub coming in from Seattle, and we got our boys Polish and Campbell coming in from Indiana. We're going to the Lions-Carolina Panthers football game on Sunday, so I will be recording the race so I can skim over it when I get home. Make sure I don't miss anything of key importance. Maybe 1878 has a problem. Maybe Junior gets the win this weekend for her Junior. Yeah, we got problems. There you go, AJ. I heard that. And, yeah, so they're coming in Thursday. We're going to be hanging out with them all weekend. Saturday night, we're going up to the office, which is normally called Buffalo Wild Wings for us. But we call it the office. And we're going up there for the Michigan State football game. Primetime game, too, by the way. Other than that, nothing really. How about you, AJ? I think you got something exciting planned Thursday night.
Yeah, man. Number one.
Plus tonight.
What's that?
Plus tonight.
Oh, yeah, tonight. Tonight with the wild card game. But Thursday we're heading out, me and my dad, to see the Patriots take on the Buccaneers in primetime football. Going to cheer on our Pats to victory, hopefully.
Should be a good football game to watch. Tampa Bay's playing real good football, too.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this is like 2014 with the Bengals.
Oh, yeah.
But, and then Saturday, going to go see some local short track racing.
Oh, nice.
Going to go, Josh Williams is actually going to be racing down there by me. And we're going to try to get him on the show here in a couple weeks.
That'd be awesome. I know he's running some Xfinity cars in ARCA, right?
He did. I think it was full-time ARCA last year. And partial, very partial Xfinity schedule. But it's always awesome to see him in the car.
Yeah, well, is this a dirt track or how big of a track is this?
It's
AJ?
asphalt.
Oh, it's an asphalt?
It's called the Fall Brawl 200, and it's like a 200 lap feature.
Oh, very nice. That should be fun Saturday night. Get some video. Get some video and post it to the Twitter page or the Facebook page.
Yeah, we'll do.
So, all right.
That wraps up the show, man.
We're already going to be at the track this weekend. Maybe somebody's going to see you at the track this weekend.
Yeah, hit him with it, Ryan.
All right, we're signing off. This is Ryan with my boy AJ. He's going to do the official sign-off. But we will see you at the track. And you may catch AJ this Saturday.
Everyone have a good weekend. Stay safe and enjoy the race.